Hello guys, welcome to first video of my new playlist C Sharp from scratch to mastery. In this series, we'll start from the basics of C Sharp and move all the way to advanced topics. And if you are complete beginner or just want to brush up your skills, this playlist is for you. So without wasting time, let's dive into the C Sharp. Today we are going to start with very basic stuffs. We are going to learn variables. But what is a variable? A variable is something that can store some value inside it, and we have lots of type of them. For example, for the integer values, we have a variable type called int. And if we want to define a variable in C Sharp, we have to do it like this: int, and then we have to set a name for our variable, for example num1, and then we can set a value to our variable, for example 10. And then in the end of all line of codes, we have to put a semicolon like this. And now we defined our first variable. We have another type called double. This is for decimal numbers. Here, as I said, we have to set a name, for example this, and then we have to set a value. For value, we can, for example, set 10.1. Here we had integer numbers, and here we have decimal numbers. We have some other variables that can store decimal numbers. For example, we have float. We can call it f, and this is equal to 10.2. But we have to tell C# that this 10.2 is a float number. So we have to add a f in the end of it, and then semicolon. And also we have decimal value. Obviously it is for decimal numbers. We can call it d, and then set a value to 10.3 to it. And we have the same problem. We have to add an m at the end of it, and then we know this is a decimal number. Now we know these variables, but what is the difference between the double, float, and decimal? The difference is how much data they can store. For example, float can store some data less than double and double less than decimal. So we can store a bigger number in the decimal. Now we know 4 types of variables. Let's do something more interesting. In C# we can output value with console.writeLine, and then when you write something here, C# will output it for you. For example, I want to output number 1, and then when I run my code, it will write it here. These values are numbers. So we can do all mathematical operation with them. For example, we can add them together, or we can multiply them, subtract them, or divide them. For example, we can add number 1 to 2. And guess what? We have 12 here. Or also, we can add it to decimal. And now we have 20.1. So we can add them together, and this is same for multiply, subtract, or division. Now it's time to learn another type of variables. It's a bit different. This type of variables are strings. They can store some text in them. For example, string s1 can store some text. For example, hello. Okay. Now we have a text hello, and this is in our s1 variable. And if you want to define a string value, you have to put it in a double quotation. And we can output it in the same way that we output our number. So console.writeLine s1, and then we will have hello here. So we have a type of variable that is a string. We can store text in it. And here is the interesting part. We can get some input from our user with these strings. How? For example, we have a string called input, and this is equal to console.readLine. As you see here, we have writeLine and write something, and then we have readLine, we are reading something. And then when we write our input, here we have our outputs, and then it needs an input to continue our program. So I write hello2, and now we have hello2. What's happened? Here we had the input, then this input is in our input variable, and then we write our input. So now we can get some inputs from our user. But what we should do if we want to get some integer or some decimal value from our user. This is how we do it. For example, if we know that this input is a number, we can convert it to a number. For example, we have an int value called num input, and this is the converted value of our input, and we can do it like this: int dot parse, and this int dot parse will do this convert for us, and all we need is put the input here, and now we have this. Now we can write the num input and then add it to, for example, 5. Here after hello we have to input a number here, for example 5, and then it will output 10 for us. And if you had decimal, float, or double number, you can do it in the same way. For example, decimal des input, and then you can parse it like this: decimal dot parse, and then you have to put your input here. Let's clear this line of code. Now with this knowledge we can do some interesting things. For example, let's create a program that reads two numbers and add them together, and after that write the result. We can do it like this. At first, let's make our app user friendly. For example, console.writeLine. We have to say to our user that we want the first number, so first number, and now we have to read the number. As I said, the value of console.readLine is a string type value, so string input 1 is equal to console.readLine. After that, we have to convert it to an integer value, so int num1 is equal to int.parse this input 1. And we have to do the same for the second number. We have to change the name, input 2, num2, input 2, and the second number. We have our number in number 1 and number 2. We have to write the results, so console.writeLine number 1 plus number 2. We have to write the first number, for example 25, and for the second number, for example 5. And now we have the results. We can also add a string to an int. Now I do it and you will see what happened. So we can write a string value here. For example, the result is, and then we have to add this string to this value. We can separate this value, and after that, let's see it again. 25, 5, and now the result is 30. So this is what happened if we add a string to integer value. You may ask, what happens if we write something random, for example hello, in the integer input part, and this is what happened. We will have an error. How to handle it? Here we have this parse, and this parse can't convert some random string to a number. Before fixing this problem, I have to talk about another value type, and this value type is Boolean type. This Boolean type just can store true or false. For example, Boolean b is equal to true or it is equal to false and nothing else. But how to use it to fix this problem? Let's use int dot try parse and see what we have here. Here, as you see, the return value of our try parse is a Boolean value. So we have to set this value to a Boolean type, for example valid, and now if our conversion is valid, then it will be true. But where is our integer value? This is how we access our integer value. At first we have to put our input, that is a string, and then we have to tell it we want to out an integer value that is our number. Instead of using parses here, we have to use try parse. So let's do it. We have to delete all of them. We have to write Boolean valid1 is equal to integer dot try parse. We have to pass the string that is going to convert it to an integer. This is input 1, and after that we have to define the return value, and this is in this syntax: out integer num1, and we have to do it in the same way here. This is value 2, this is number 2, and this is input 2. Don't forget to put semicolons in the end. And now let's see what we have. Our first number is 84, our second number is 16, and everything is working fine. But what if we write some random and then some real int here? And as you see, we have a problem here. We have to know, do our program have a valid input or not? So after that, we can add some other strings, and we can say something like this: is our result valid? And after that, we have to say, is it valid or not? But we have two validation. How we can add them together? Boolean variables have some special operation, and we will see two of them in this video. One of them is valid1 and valid2, and then we have to put it in it. Now what it mean? It mean if valid1 and valid2, both of them is true, the value of this is true. And also we have another operation. This is OR operation. What it mean? It mean if any of them is true, the value of this is true. But if both of them are false, the value is false. Here we want both of them true, so we have to AND them together. And if both of them are true, we will have a true output. Now let's see what we have. First number 25, second number 5, and see, this is our result and this is our validation. And now let's check with random string, and as you see, our validation is false now. It's enough for this tutorial, but before goodbye, I suggest you to do some exercises. For example, now you can create a calculator for discount, for taxes, and all things that you think you can do. Without practicing, you will learn nothing. So I highly recommend you that do some exercises with yourself. Honestly, it's really necessary to learn programming. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next chapter, goodbye.